Well, hello everyone, this is Deb from Coffee Worx. Today, I thought we should talk about what am I drinking? Lots of people are quite confused when they order a flat white or a latte or a cappuccino. What am I drinking? What's the difference? So today, I'm just going to run through it with you so that number one, if you're making coffee at home, you know how to make it for yourself, but also if you're out, knowing what to order so that you're actually going to get the maximum enjoyment out of your coffee, I think it's pretty important. So I'm just going to run through quickly. A lot of these terms, some people think of it in other ways, especially people that come from overseas may have different terminology that they use for coffee. But here in New Zealand, like always, we like to create our own culture. So this is the way that most people in New Zealand would talk about coffee. Mostly coffee came from Europe, and in Europe they love drinking strong coffee and they just usually drink it in little shots. They're not like us, they don't drink heaps of milk in great big cups. And so this is called a demi-tasse cup. Usually in the old days most people would have had this as a single shot of espresso, which is about 30 mils. But these days in New Zealand, because we love our coffee so much and we've got a really great palate, we're actually often drinking this as a double now. So that's about 60 mils of espresso. It's a double shot espresso and that's it, folks. Usually that's all that's in this little cup. So this is for your hardcore coffee drinkers. Lots of people who want a really good hit, this is the way they drink their coffee. Then people call this cup here usually a tulip cup. Most of the time, this is what you use if you're serving what we call a long black. To make a long black, we're usually taking the double shot of espresso and just adding water to it. That's the long bit. If you're from overseas, you might know this just as an espresso. But the key to a long black is you always put your hot water in first. You don't want to pour your boiling water over your perfectly made extraction. It's a great test of your extraction. If you haven't got a good extraction, it's not going to float beautifully on here. If you get it right, you get a lovely crema floating on top of your long black. And for long black drinkers, again, nowhere to hide. You need a great extraction or they're going to get all the hard flavours coming through. So if you're making long blacks, take time with your extraction to make sure it's pouring perfectly so that all the great flavours come through into your long black espresso. But the big question is, what is the difference between a flat white and a latte? More traditionally, people coming from Europe used to drink latte, cafe latte, which is coffee with milk. And most of the time it was served in a larger cup. So they liked, in those days most people were only drinking single espresso, but again, New Zealanders, hardcore, we love the double shot espresso because it gives us great flavour and it pushes right through the whole milk so that it still tastes really coffee-ish. A lot of people these days will drink a double latte. So you've got a double shot of espresso and then you've got your beautiful satiny milk. It makes a little thermal cap on top and it should be rich and creamy, and this is for the milk lovers. We love the flavour of the milk with the espresso. So a lot of espressos in New Zealand are designed and blended to go perfectly with milk, and we're so lucky in this country. We have some of the best quality milk in the world. That's why we make great espresso. Fresh coffee, local roasteries, high quality milk and very clean water. And that's why sometimes when you go overseas and you're waiting for your great coffee experience, you actually can't wait to get home to have a fabulous espresso from your local cafe. And that's because we've got so much going for us. So that's a traditional latte. But some New Zealanders said, oh, we don't like that much milk, we want some milk, but that's just too much. So, and the big argument between Australia and New Zealand is who developed the flat white? Let's claim it. We'll say we did it. Basically, they loved the coffee flavour, but they didn't want the milk. They made a double espresso in a smaller cup with milk. And that's how the flat white was developed. And because it's in a smaller cup, the way you pour the milk, it usually only makes a nice fine layer of the satin. So again, perfect for people that don't want that big milky thing going on. They've got a very, very fine layer of satin, they've got a double shot of espresso, and they've got less milk, makes it stronger. And that's what the flat white is. So really, it was about coffee stronger and in a smaller cup with less milk. And then we've got the classic cappuccino. What is a cappuccino? A cappuccino is often served again in this size, These days, again, people like a double. There's some people that would rather have a single coffee, not too strong, and that's just fine. Have coffee the way you like it, that's what I say. But you've got your either single or double shot of espresso. You've got another up to here to 2/3 of your non-texturized milk, so just plain milk as you're pouring it through the jug to about here. And then you've got a full third of the beautiful, rich satin going on top. So it usually caps up beautifully, and you have this lovely, rich satin that cappuccino drinkers, in my experience, they like to eat all that off, and then they drink their coffee. And usually it's sprinkled with a little bit of chocolate or cinnamon. So really, those are the drinks that mostly we drink in New Zealand. If you drink mocha, you're a person that likes to have some chocolate with your coffee. And so it's sort of like double shot of espresso with a shot of lovely chocolate. And the two together make a wonderful, rich, enjoyable drink. And the last one that you may have heard of, and not sure what it is macchiato. You can get a short macchiato or a long macchiato. This should give you a bit of a clue. It's either a short black or a long black with a tiny little dob of steamed milk on top. Macchiato means to spot or to mark. So it's your black coffee just marked with milk. And you might think, why would they bother? But for macchiato drinkers, they just want that little tiny touch of the milk, just to add something to the rich espresso flavour. Don't order macchiato if you don't like black coffee, because it's mostly black coffee. So today, hopefully, that's just helped give a simple explanation. When you're out and about to order your next espresso drink, maybe try something new. Just because you've always drunk cappuccino doesn't mean you wouldn't like a flat white, or the other way around. Try things, give them a go. And some people like to put flavours in their coffees like caramel and vanilla and ginger nut, and why not? The most important thing about coffee is that you are actually enjoying what you're drinking. So if what you're drinking now may not be quite you, try something new until you find the thing that you love.